Well, old Bob Dylan was right then and now. Times they sure are changing. Disclaimer. Everything you hear and see on this video you are about to watch is my opinion and my opinion only. Also, at some point in this video or down the line, there may be a spoiler or two. So if you don't like my opinion or you're not into spoilers, you might as well just go ahead and click off now. So for the ones of you that are still here, we do appreciate you, and please enjoy the show. Welcome back to In the Birdcage with KCB. I'm your host, KCB, and with Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, Wanda Maximoff, aka the Scarlet Witch, seems to be throwing that chaos magic around just as easy as Rhodey at a party with one of his jokes.
Wanda. Like, boom. You looking for this?
I'm here to help.
Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is building up to be probably the biggest, if not one of the biggest, or probably the greatest crossovers in MCU Marvel history. But let's take a step back. Let's find out how a sitcom-loving child from Sokovia can turn into a chaos-wielding myth from long ago called the Scarlet Witch. And please, if you don't mind, reach out and smash that like button like it owes you money. It sure would help out the channel right here. And if you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell notification. That way you'll know when we bring out some new content. It's free and easy for you, but you can't imagine how much help it is to us small creators. We really could appreciate it, and we thank you so very much for taking your time out of your day to spend with us and being right here with KCB. Born in Sokovia in the early 80s, where military firefights was common enough to just, if you saw one, just close your curtain to and go on. The highlight of Wanda's week, of course, was movie night. That's where they got to choose a movie to watch and also practice their English through the whole night while they were watching movies. And we're not talking about movies like today or even DVDs that I may know. We're talking about some old school stuff, some Mary Tyler Moore, Bewitched, stuff like that. Could you imagine putting yourself in her place and having that kind of childhood? Come to think about it, I could imagine a world where an episode of In the Birdcage with KCB would probably be the highlight of somebody's week. Couldn't you?
Heroes don't torture people.
Okay, maybe not. You know, the twins didn't have it any better from just the way they were brought up. They literally had to watch their parents get blown to bits. They were both stranded under a bed for a few days anyway, surrounded by the rubble of their home that had just been destroyed, their parents that had just been killed, and a bomb looking them right straight in the face. As she put it, we had to wait for a few days for Tony Stark to kill her. She didn't know this at the time, but she had actually used a spell to keep the bomb from going off, which she learned years later. Her and her brother volunteered for Stryker's experiments with exposure to the Mind Stone. Is this all coincidental, or did someone somewhere lead her to that Mind Stone? Did someone know that that Mind Stone would open up something in her that she didn't know? Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think. And don't forget to smack that like button just like it called you a bad name. That was bad. And don't forget to smack that like button almost just like it called your mama a bad name. Being betrayed by Ultron, Pietro's death, and the fact that she was utterly alone and completely empty, she joins the Avengers for some time. After a catastrophic event in Lagos, and the world government bringing down the Sokovia cores upon the Avengers at this very time, Tony Stark decides the best course of action is to exile her to the Avengers compound, and leaving Vision there to kind of overlook and oversee. Which what Tony doesn't know is this is where they bond. This is where they get closer and closer together. And if I'm not mistaken, this is maybe where they fall in love when he throws out that heart-wrenching quote.
But what is grief? If not love, persevering. We're in the end game now.
After the Battle of Civil War, The Scarlet Witch takes Cap's side, and her and Vision decide to take a, I don't know what you'd call it, a sabbatical, but they disappear. They disappear together because they're in love at this time. They disappear wherever they go. I think they were in Paris. They disappeared, and they were fine until Thanos' goons decided to come and try to get the Mind Stone because they knew where it was, which didn't happen. Captain America to the rescue, dude. Having finally found a small bit of peace and fallen in love with Vision, and her life was almost somewhat normal for the way she wanted it, it's brought to their attention, actually, Vision brought it up, that the only way to keep Thanos from getting the Mind Stone was destroying the Mind Stone. Only problem was, Wanda's the only one strong enough to destroy the Mind Stone, but with destroying the Mind Stone, she would have also destroyed Vision, which is something she was not going to do. She would not do it, didn't want to do it, and I don't blame her. I wouldn't want to do it either. Unfortunately, as we know, that is exactly what happened. Not only did she have to kill the man, sentient being that she loved to destroy the Mind Stone and watch him die by her hands, she got to watch Thanos rewind time and kill him again right in front of her. But the kicker to that was, just as soon as she saw him dead or found out he was dead, Thanos snapped.
Should have gone for the head.
And she dusted. 5 years after the dusting, she returns with everything that she has just went through fresh, very, very fresh on her mind. So she is still in utter emotional, physical, mental distress and pain. Here is where I have my questions, and there's a couple questions I've even tried to find on YouTube from a few other guys. Heavy spoilers, Screen Crush, New Rock Stars, that I hadn't really got an answer from or can't find an answer myself. She said when she got the sword that she couldn't feel him. How did she know he was there? She was snapped back, I'm assuming, in Wakanda. Did they tell her that's where he was at, or where he went, or where his body was? How did she find that out? Who put the letter in her car for the deed to the house in Westview? It never did tell that. Was it there? Did she find it? I know Vision filled it out. And please, if you would, comment down below where you think, or even if you may know, where the deed to that plot in Westview came from, and how she found out that Vision was at the sword facility. After all that happened with Ultron, with Thanos, with Sword, finding the empty plot, the love note from Vision where we'll grow old with, she couldn't handle anymore. She's at a breaking point. So emotionally distraught, she explodes and pushes forth the full-throated awesomeness of her chaos magic. She creates an entire town. Miles and miles in circumference of towns, not casting a spell, not having a covenant, nothing like that. Boom, bam, magic on autopilot. She creates this little world so her and Vision can be together again and actually have a family. That's something she has never had, or hasn't had since she was a little girl, and something that she wants very badly. So she created all this through her chaos magic, or someone helped her create all this through her chaos magic so she could have the family that she'd always wanted. At first, she just goes along with it, trying to tell herself that, you know, it may not be her, it's okay, I deserve it, this is mine, it's something I've never had, it's something that's at my grasp, and it's something I'm going to take. So I'm taking mine. Everybody else has got theirs, nobody's giving me mine, so I'm taking mine right now. In the process of creating her own work, she does attract a fellow witch, Agatha Harkness.
Heroes don't torture people.
An FBI agent, Agent Wu, and the best, Monica Rambeau, and the worst, Director Hayward, that Sword had to offer. We come to find out that Agatha's power is to bend others' power to her will and consume it. So that's what she's after with Wanda. She knows cantations, she knows how to do spells. Wanda does not know anything except what she's done. So she doesn't know spells, she doesn't know runes, she doesn't know anything. She's not put the time in, so to speak. She's not paid her dues, is probably the best way to put this, through Agatha's eyes. So Agatha pokes and prods and tries to figure out how she's doing what she's doing because she wants that power for herself.
What's your secret, sister?
So Agatha pokes and she prods and she prods and she pokes at the bear in the cage, and finally she unleashes it. Finally the bear comes out of the corner. Finally she unleashes the Scarlet Witch.
You're supposed to be a myth capable of spontaneous creation. Using it to make breakfast for dinner. Did you know that?
And as she unleashes the Scarlet Witch, she realizes it's a power that she has no business to try to control, nor can she.
The Scarlet Witch is not born, she is forged. She has no coven, no need for incantation.
After Wanda fixes Westview for the people, unfortunately not for her family,
Good girl.
she leaves Agatha in Westview, bewitched as the nosy neighbor, the part that she was wanting to play, just in case if she needs her somewhere down the line, she'll know exactly where she's at. At the end of WandaVision, we're left with seeing her in a distant, way distant cabin somewhere in the valleys of these beautiful mountains with the beautiful land surrounds her. She's sitting on her front porch in her Big Mama outfit, as I'm going to call it. That's kind of an inside joke. Comment below the question and I'll answer it if you want. In her Big Mama outfit, and as she's drinking her cup of coffee or tea or whatever it may be, and she goes through the house, the Scarlet Witch actually thumbing through the dark hole, trying to learn and process and figure out the power she has, because she wants to understand the power so she may one day be able to control the power. And what does she hear? She hears her children holler. Now, we've also seen 10 Rings. He heard something as well. Is this the same thing that Wanda's hearing, or is she really hearing her kids? So, what do you think? Do you think Wanda didn't have any powers at all, and that she just got lucky with the bomb and the Mind Stone when she got with it just kind of hooked her up with it? Do you think that all the emotional turmoil and all the poking and the prodding that everybody has done, plus being exposed to the Mind Stone, is what brought the chaos magic and the Scarlet Witch out of her? Or, my favorite and my opinion is, like me, someone's behind the curtain, just like the Wizard of Oz. There's someone somewhere pushing the buttons. Someone's paving the road for her to walk down, so to speak. You know, somebody like He Who Remains, or not the bees, Mephisto, but someone is in the background making sure that Wanda is doing these things to bring this out of her. That's what I think. I don't know who. I'm loving it and I can't wait to find out. But for me, in my opinion, that's what I think's going on. Please, in the comments down below, let me know what you think. Educate me. If I'm wrong and you know what's going on and why it's going on, let me know in the comments, please. And don't forget, slap that like button like it owes you money. Well, folks, that's it for this episode. If you want to follow me, you can do so at Bird One Creations on Instagram or Twitter, either one. If you want to follow Bird One Creations right here on YouTube, please hit subscribe and the notification bell, and it'll let you know what you want to see and lets us come to you. Well, that's it. Good night. So y'all have a good night. You hear?